what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. And today we've got ZIG from Fresh
Hey,
Format and Flowrock.
what's
And
up, man?
yeah, really excited to have you here. ZIG is a cool guy, and yeah, I'm excited to hear your story, hear your thoughts and stuff, and what you're up to. And I hope everyone listening to is too. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So for anyone who might not know who you are, do you mind just getting into a little bit about your history and just how you maybe got into the dance and all that?
Yeah, I start at the beginning of the 90s. I was more on the New Jack, New Jack swing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so with I-top and just rocking like crazy beat. Yeah, that's why like now like I love top rocking because it's fitting so well with my dance. After this, getting the popping. But in 93, that's where I start breaking a little bit more. Yeah. So start in my corner. I was living at a place in the north of Montreal, more in the suburb, and start with one of my friend. And here we have a lot of rave. So I was in the rave. They have like some room in the room or hip hop room.
Hmm.
So that's where we start. And yeah, so I met DKC a little bit later, 3 years after, 3 or 2 years after I start breaking, and that's where all history start. And in 96, something like this, 97, I get in this crew called Flowrock, and yeah, that everything started out there. And do it all a battle. After this, I creating like a crew with my homeboy Lost Child. We creating a fresh format. With the vision was totally different. We want to travel a little bit more and just repping Canada everywhere. That's what we focus on. And with a certain mentality about our style. Our style was mixed a lot of with European and foundation from New York. So that was very fluid, but at the same time explosive.
Hmm.
So that's where a little bit later, I have some kids with me and giving them classes. I start teaching a lot. And later on, like creating this crew called Stylz Corrupt. Now they just blowing up. They do our
Yeah.
stuff, their stuff. They freaking dope. So yeah, man, that's quick like this. That's where I'm from for breaking and got dance school for 15 years. Tried to build a scene, try to keep going the new generation. I was focused a lot with that. But because of the COVID, my dance school closed this year.
Oh.
So that's where I get in a little bit more into it with this organization called Breaking Canada and creating this little committee with our local, not brand, but local federation called Dans Sport Québec, DSQ, uh, and creating Breaking Quebec. That's where everything started. And now working with Breaking Canada full time. Yeah.
Hmm. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Good trip. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned all the things that I want to talk about, but that's awesome. Um, Maybe we'll kind of like just go pull it back a little bit. But yeah, I'm curious. I know like right recently Fleo helped. I don't know if he like helped produce or something with like about breaking the breaking history in Montreal.
Yeah,
Uh,
Decipher. Yeah.
yeah, I haven't had a chance to check that out, but I heard it's good. But can you talk a little bit about what like the Montreal scene, not necessarily just breaking, because you said you were into other dance styles too. Can you talk a
Hmm.
little bit about just maybe the dance scene in general in Montreal or what it was like when you were
Hmm.
starting out?
Um, when I start on New Jack Swing,
Quick
different.
quick question: did you actually
Yeah,
have a flat top?
yeah, man. I have a freaking white boy with flat top.
That's awesome.
That was like so much like culture stuff, like cultural thing. It's okay, like,
Yeah, it's
but yeah, I have it. When I start, we're very town versus town. For us, I was from a little town called Mirabel
mhm.
in the north, so we're just driving bicycle to go to another jam and just try to beat everyone in every city. So that was very funny, but yeah, things change now. Our scene is very Montreal was very long time very focused on themselves. So I feel, this is my personal opinion, I feel like the foundation here in Montreal is very solid, um, because of that, because we focus on foundation, very like into it. We're not so far from to New York, so I feel sometimes like that's why our connection with breaking and all foundation is more solid. So popper here were focused a lot of popping and very basic, so they were like going to the sword in the west and more like into it, very focused on basic like foundation. So it's, yeah, I feel here that we have a strong funk scene, a strong breaking scene, whacking very strong.
Yeah.
I feel every element, maybe it's because it's my scene, I feel every element here is the best, bro.
Yeah.
Like
No.
we have strong dancer here. Yeah.
Yeah. Even from an outsider's perspective, like I knew about, I don't follow these things like super closely, but I have friends who are involved in those other dance like communities and stuff. And I knew that, yeah, Montreal was really strong in popping and whacking, and obviously in breaking, because I met some of you guys, I met some of the people out there, and yeah, just seeing. I remember seeing you guys out in what is it, United Styles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool to see. And like, there's other people from Montreal too, like fresh, not fresh, Sweet Technique, and those guys blew up like internationally and all this stuff. Like, yeah, so I know
Yeah,
Montreal's
we
like,
got this later on fresh format. We're just we stopped battling. We stopped like
yeah,
travel. We stopped everything. We're being very not bored about the scene, but we saw what the scene is. Like you need sometimes it's more about friendship
mm,
than you going somewhere, you blow up, but at the same times, someone, the jam, blah blah blah, and we're just not be discussed by the scene, but we're just be not down really, and just be more focused on, what, we're not getting like on this kind of story. We're just doing our stuff for fun and breaking for fun, and
that's
and we stop traveling. Yeah.
yeah, that's fair enough. Like,
Yeah.
but I always liked you guys, and it's cool to hear like you were talking about the sort of like, I don't know, aesthetic or whatever of fresh format was sort of this
Hmm.
traditional foundation but mixed with like European influence, and it's very like fluid and stuff, and you really see it with a lot of you guys in the way you move, like it's hard to describe if you haven't seen you guys dance, but like all the members are, it really is that strong sense of foundation mixed with like really good musicality, connection with the music, and just like, yeah, fluid is the best way that I can put it.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
think about that, Sancho is from Germany.
Mm.
He's in the same crew of Storm.
Hmm.
So he's very European the way he's breaking. We have now Laos, B-Boy Laos
Oh yeah.
from France. He's in fresh format. He's more than fluid. He's one of our inspiration for many years. Before
Hmm.
after this, he came to Montreal, but he was a big inspiration. We have Elan. Elan
Yeah.
is from Sweden. He's very fluid the way he's breaking. So yeah, we have a lot of history about it, and we have a vision, like this is for us the best vision ever, like everyone have. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, we try to keep this and try to not school, but show what Montreal style is and what's Canadian style is supposed to be, because
Mm.
that's what I feel now, you know, with my role with the Breaking Canada,
Mm-hmm.
to see because now like I see the new generation,
Mm-hmm.
yo, Canada is really dope.
Yeah.
Really, really, really dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's our time right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, definitely, definitely want to get into that stuff. But yeah, let's go back and I'm just curious, where does
So
the
I'm gonna
name?
be everywhere, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
it'll be
gonna
all
fuck
over.
it up your stuff right now.
It's all good. No, there's no like set order, but I'm just really interested like in these crews and stuff that you're in. Um, just quickly, I was curious, like where does the name Fresh Format come from? How did that come about?
Oh, damn. That was,
Because that's a really good name. I like that name.
yeah, it's a good name. You know what is weird? It's a girl before Fresh Format was there. A B girl here was my student. Uh, she um, she came with the name. She uh, she say like, oh, yo, this format is so fresh. Like, let's call it Fresh Format. And that was on the beginning. That was a little bit. That was a student thing for fun and the dance school and all this. And later on, I was like, you know what? Let's try to. I have a lot of friends. We hook up a lot in some jam. So let's make this crew like bigger and just have more impact, and with some people like I feel and I always battle with.
Hmm.
So that's where like Lost Child came in and Kamikaze came in, and Tiger was in too. Um, so yeah, she come with the name. Yeah, she said only like the format is so fresh, so let's call it Fresh Format, and that's it.
It's a
That
good
came.
name.
Yeah, the name is so dope. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and then there's a little FF alliteration connection, Filthy Feet, Fresh Format.
Represent.
But yeah, that's cool to hear. So I'm curious too about, yeah, just the whatever you can say about it, but yeah, just getting into like the history of Flowrock and yeah, just can you talk a little bit about that crew and your time with them?
Wow, Flowrock. That's why like Flowrock. If you saw the documentary of Fleo, you're gonna see the Flowrock was more than legendary here.
Mm.
I feel like they were the base of what Montreal is right now. They were not only b-boy and b-girl. They were like popper. We have some locker. We have some yeah some house. We try to learn what was fun with Flowrock. It's Flowrock try to connect with each real mentality and foundation of each kind of dance of street style.
Mm.
So that's why we're like very strong at this era. We not only b-boy and b-girl. That was like every style. If we do popping, try to connect with what is from, what is the history, who's what is the real foundation about it. So yeah, so I can say like they're dope b-boy and b-girl, but the the main thing about Flowrock was they respect the essence of everything. So yeah, we have our era. We battle a lot against a tactical crew. Tactical was a big crew out here. Us, we're more influenced by New York City, so we're very more in dancing and top rock and the foundation. But them were more, I don't know if I can say that, but West, more about move,
Right. Okay.
big move and
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
this. for us that was more about West, you know. So I don't know for you guys, maybe it's like, no, that was not like this in the West.
I think
But
that's like very, very, yeah, that was a West Coast thing.
I feel, yeah, yeah, this
At
era
least
West
in the
Coast,
90s, at least that. This might have
in,
changed over time, but yeah.
maybe yeah, that was more, but that was more about the American, the way they were moving. They were
Right.
more tricks, big tricks. Oh, for us, we're just like, this is only blew up. We don't give a fuck about it. And we're just like, do you dance? Do you blah, blah, blah? And we're just very like, you know, we just call ourselves B-Boy Patrol.
B-Boy
Weird,
Patrol.
and we're putting people in the hip hop jail.
Okay.
Just like try to give some smack. So yeah, Flowrock was very, very. We're people hate us so much because we're like, yo, you guys suck, and just like battling everyone. We're just very like, no, not following the trend
Hmm.
on what happened, you know. So
That's
yeah, so I do a
important.
lot of street show, with Flowrock. So that's where like my love with choreo and dancing, showtime, and performance came because of this. Because we're due 7 years in the old port of Montreal doing street show and all of this. Yeah, something like this. Each summer we're there with our family and just perform, perform, perform. So yeah, we battled a lot, man. We came like we saw we're the only crew who's still active and still there for the community.
Hmm.
That's why too I feel Montreal is strong because Flowrock was there before Tactical. They were this beef against Bag of Tricks
Hmm.
with Dope Squad. Dope Squad was a big crew here. After this with Tactical crew, and later on different crew, we always been there, you know.
Hmm.
So I think longevity. I don't know it's a word in English. Longevity.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Longevity. That it's why those new kids like they were looking at us, and maybe that's why like we just pushing so much like foundation. They just yeah, they listen to us, and they just like we're just on their ass always, you know, about it. So that's why like I feel Montreal is like this a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a good point that you brought up. Like, it's really cool to see, uh, a crew that's been there for a long time and stuck with the community, and like you can see right there we'll get into it next with Stylz Corrupt. I want to ask you about that, but the idea of a crew or just people from the community sticking around and continuing to give back and pass down the knowledge and stuff. It's one of the problems in a sense that I saw with, say, Vancouver. Like when I first started, there were like a few people, but they were kind of like on their way out. And the main people, contents, under pressure, they
Mm-hmm.
were like the big crew, but they had all stopped. They all left, like, or they were all doing different things. None of them really. They were still doing like hip hop things, but not really like in the breaking community. Occasionally, you'd have Flip Out. He's a DJ. He would come in occasionally and DJ a jam, but yeah, it was like there was no passing of the torch and like and passing on knowledge and staying in the community and helping the community build. So it was like a reset. And
Do you think it's the fault of to you guys or then the old generation or because
uh I don't know. I don't know if I can really like blame anybody, cuz but I think it is a choice that some people make. It could be also cuz Vancouver's scene is a bit smaller, but I know that like now uh NON is kind of has taken on that sort of role, I guess, as the crew that's sort of like stuck around. I think a lot of them decided to do dance as their career, so it makes sense that they're still
Mhm.
around and involved. But there's a lot of kids who started out learning from them at some schools or whatever, and
It's important. It's
yeah, yeah,
that's all like the Vancouver style. That's where it starts. When you saw like old generation, because the old generation teach very well. because they have the mentality. They don't care about giving their style, giving their mentality, because they over battle. They're not on this anymore. And when you have like someone's taking the lead and start teaching in the old crew, he's not coming only with moves. He's coming with the mentality and history.
Yeah.
And all the thing changed because of that.
Yeah.
I feel on different province, it's not like that. Like you can tell, you can see now, Vancouver is pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of young people there that are really doing well. I'm really impressed. But yeah, speaking of just younger generation, I literally didn't know this until we talked right before starting this, but I knew about the crew and some of the people in there. But yeah, you have a hand in creating Stylz Corrupt, which is one of the up and coming crews in Montreal. And maybe they've already come. They're not up and coming anymore.
Maybe I like the fact that they think they're the upcomer. It's better like the underdog. Right. If you stay with the underdog mentality, you're gonna still growing up.
But didn't one of them win? What was it? Skillsometer like last year or something?
I think so. Yeah.
So I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I know now. Like
coming anymore.
Yeah, I know. Like some of them, but they all solid. It's maybe because I'm biased when I'm practicing with them, but man, they're just freaking dope. They're kind of the way they break like new old school.
Yeah.
You know, they're coming with strong foundation, with old school mentality, but with the new style of what's happening today. And they're very open mind. And that's why I think like they're gonna be the next one. Yeah. If they're not right now in the next one. So yeah, I started. They were my kid. I'm gonna say like I was the father, but start teaching some of them. Then when they have like 12 years old, something like this. And on the beginning of Stylz Corrupt, they don't want to travel. They want to stay at their little town. And few years after, 5 years after, they start coming to the scene. I have this mentality about how to teach, and I start with them. They were my rats laboratory. I was like, when I was teaching out there different stuff from them, I was always coming with the best way of teaching. I was testing some stuff everywhere, how to make teaching effective and better with kids to make them grow and be dope with the mentality of, I'm getting old, and I hope that's what they think. I don't want to talk from them, but I was trying to, I know I'm getting old, and I try to give them like the ZIG style and the fresh format style, and try to say like, yo, taking it and just like keep going. But yeah, man, that was a pretty dope trip with them. And now like I'm very honored to be in the crew, rocking them, but be more backup. But sometimes they're always asking me question, what do you think about da? What do you think about, can we do this? They're always like coming like this, with me. So yeah, they're very respectful, they're humble kids, and they're very angry.
Yeah, but that's a good thing to have. Like, it's come up a lot in a lot of these talks, especially just talking with people who are from an older generation. But a lot of times it was like, a lot of these really talented dancers, there's always someone who helped guide them. And the idea of just mentorship is really big and really important. For anyone who might not be familiar with Stylz Corrupt, who are some of the people that they can like look up and check out?
They can watch right now.
Other than ZIG, of course.
Yeah, Mass, for sure. Mass, Intricate. You have Kazi. You have Hit. You have D-Mat. We have the three brothers, B-Rock, Jules. and Jimmy Jab.
Jimmy
We
Chan.
had, yeah, Jimmy
Nice
Jab
name.
is freaking dope. They had three brothers. B Rock was the first one I was teaching him, and he was known by breaking with
Yeah, no shoes, right? No
no
socks, no
shoes.
shoes.
Yeah, we just like I was freaking out, man. It was like, no, yeah, but I love the ground. I want to feel it's like, yo, but it's not b-boy. Ah! I was freaking out, but it's okay.
Yeah.
He's dope. Now he's
Yeah.
wearing shoes, so he's back on track.
Yeah. But I remember seeing that the first time. I was like, "What? Who is this guy? Who is this clown with no shoes, no socks?" And then you see him get down, and he's like, "Oh, all right, okay, he's got some stuff." Like, still wish he was wearing some shoes, but I gotta respect the movement, right? Like,
Exactly, like at the end, if you
yeah,
think about it, like where breaking is from, it's from Africa, whatever like this. We're breaking bare feet and whatever like this, so it's okay.
it's
Let's give him like the credit of this.
it's all movement, right? Getting back to these human
Yeah,
roots.
it's all about that, man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
honestly, the foundation of breaking, the history about it, it's so pure, it's so beautiful. Yeah,
hmm hmm
it's the best dance, man.
yeah,
It's incredible. You
yeah,
can be you being physic, but you're dancing at the same time. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
pretty crazy to think physical stuff can be very dancing wise, can have something merging together.
yeah,
Like now, like
yeah,
we can debate if it's a sport or dance or whatever like this, but let's be let's have let's agree that we are athlete,
yeah.
but it's an art before everything.
Yeah. I think not, and this isn't just like dance and sport and all these things. Like I was just listening to a thing about design, like a podcast about design earlier today. And a lot of times like all of these things overlap, and it is and it isn't these things, like, everything is design and everything, and but it isn't design at the same time. Everything is art, but it's not art. Like you can look at things scientifically. You can look at art scientifically. You can look at science in an artistic way. You can look at sports as an art. And then people talk about the art of blah blah blah, the art of whatever, right? So a lot of times it's like sometimes people get too focused on having this like binary thinking. It's this or it's that, and they don't think about, hey, well, there's a lot of gray area, and it's kind of both at the same time. So
Yeah,
sometimes,
and
yeah,
it's sorry, but it's there's something we can control,
mm,
cannot control, and
hmm,
it's called evolution.
yeah,
And no matter what, it's gonna be there.
hmm,
So if you're closed mind and you don't see that, it's suck to you because at the end of it, that's gonna still be there.
hmm,
So the best way to doing stuff, it's be a part of it
hmm,
and just try to put your 2 cents to not minimize the risk, but to just making grow this new evolution a certain way that gonna be real for us, for Canadian or whatever like this. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think if you talk about anything like that, like you can try your best to control it, and you think this is the direction that it should go, but at the end of the day, it's really like if it resonates with people a certain way, that stuff is gonna stick, or it's gonna continue, and that kind of thing. So
True.
there's, like you said, there's certain things you can control, but some things you can't control, and you just do what you can, right? Do what you believe is right, and I don't know. Just keep
Yeah,
going.
but like that's why like every kids now who start, they're gonna be a pioneer one day, and they're gonna have a word. So if you're not teaching them well, they're gonna try to do some stuff on their side, and maybe that's gonna fuck it up everything you try to build.
Yeah,
But yeah, we don't know. Like, but it's cool. Evolution is very cool. History is
Yeah,
very cool. All of this, it's perfect. Yeah.
yeah. Man, that I don't want to go too far into that because
No, no,
it's
no,
just
no,
so
no.
it starts getting into like philosophy and whatever. But
No.
so let's bring it back in and yeah, I'm kind of curious about this. I guess is it a dance company or a dance like a performance group? The C4 group that you have. Yeah, can you talk a little bit
C4
about that?
represent. Sorry. Yeah, it's when I have my studio, like I was trying to do like a little merge with commercial and street dance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was very open-minded about because a lot of people, I don't know if it's the same thing in the West, in Vancouver or whatever like this, but a lot of pioneer here, they're very against commercial. If you do like a big choreo like thing, you just like you're you're not into it because they're not enough hip hop or whatever like this.
Right.
So when I start my dance school, I was trying to have a foot in between commercial and underground.
Mm-hmm.
Try to give to, let's say, a father this this hip hop vibe, street vibe, but maybe he is a doctor and he when he finishes day try to do some dance hall or whatever like this is coming back at home and it's done for the day, but I give him the good information. So the point is, I started the different crew, and this crew called C4, that was the longest crew in 2011. I started this, and yeah, they were like 5 girls, very strong, try to give a positive message about because we saw so much in different dance styles, some girls with little shirt, shaking booty and all of this, and just like do TikTok, whatever like this. And they just pretty nude. And when I start C4 in 2011, they have no TikTok, but yeah, that was all about this, like girls, street style, popping, breaking. So yeah, so I try with those girl to try to give a different message about girls, women don't need to shake her booty, don't need to do this stuff to be dope and be view and be respect. So I started this company called C4, and yeah, they do a lot of stuff. They go on TV shows, different competition. They've been on the final of that's kind of, it's a remake of America's Best Dance Crew here in
Mm-hmm.
Quebec. They've been in final
Mm.
and big TV show called Révolution. It's a commercial TV thing here in Quebec. They've been in final too, so
Nice.
yeah, they're very known and they travel. We build their first show and it's a big multimedia show right now, and we travel with it and try to give to the young girls and everyone like a different message.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you were mentioning that it's sort of like s- some of your shows are like multi using different forms of multimedia to enhance the
yeah,
show or something.
it's multimedia. It's we finished the year. We have a big tour. We got approached by a big production here. They pay to have a show, and we're coming with crazy idea. My first idea was, yo, we want to have some screen on the back, and when we touch the screen, something happened, and blah 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 blah. And they were like, yeah, we want to buy this show. I was like, oh shit, it's happened. So so the thing is, we build this, and yeah, it's the big LED wall in the back, pretty big, and somewhere like when they're dancing, the wall of LED is not only like projection, they're part of a dancer. So they're not 5 girls, they're 5 girls with LED, with multimedia. And sometimes they do something, they touching the screen and something react at same times. don't want to say too much, but it's pretty dope. It's pretty insane. So
Nice.
the focus in 2023, where we have a lot of shows in 2022 in September till December in Quebec. 2023, we're finishing our tour in Quebec and starting maybe at the end of 2023 around Canada. That's the goal. And after
Nice.
this, going internationally with the show.
Awesome.
And it's a pretty dope show. Yeah. If you know somewhere like we can produce the show in Vancouver, it will be dope if we're coming in town.
I'll try and put you in touch with some people if I can. Was this I forget what you mentioned. Was this something that they approached you, or did you go and seek it out?
Because they were known in Quebec in TV,
Mm-hmm.
so this production come to us and say they have a lot of singers, uh, we call humorist here. It's they do stand-up comic.
Right.
This company, this production, they have the idea to do the same thing, to put the same kind of machine behind a dance crew.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they approach of us. It's like, oh, we like the way you guys dancing, because you're not only dancing for dancing, you're just talking. You give it a story, and you're giving us a story about it. So we want you guys to do a show, and we'd like to buy the show. So they produce it. This company called La Tribu, and yeah, it's pretty good, the match. It's pretty dope to see, like, everything we coming with the idea. You're like, okay, we have this person who can do this. Oh, we have this person who can do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what is funny? It's 20 years ago, more than that, 25 years ago, when I was in Flowrock, I was already seeing this kind of stuff being produced, because I was like talking already to the crew. We'd like to do this with the screen, and when we touching, this thing happen, and we're gonna do this, and I put a lot of element like this inside of the show. So some of the Flowrock guys, when they came to see the show, they seen some Flowrock stuff inside of it. Right. It's a little bit like an Easter egg inside of the show.
That's
so cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. And I hope has that what do you call it? Premiered yet?
The premiere was in Montreal at the Place des Arts. That was pretty huge. That was over 1,000 people came.
Wow.
The media and all of it. Yeah, that was pretty huge. Now we just freaking the date is nonstop. We have this little break this summer, but we're back. Yeah, the premiere is already done.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's exciting. I wish the best of luck as it goes into the future. Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the last thing maybe that we can talk about for now, because I know you've got some engagements after this, but yeah, can you talk a little bit about breaking Canada, and even like breaking Quebec and that stuff, because I know it's all sort of connected and that kind of thing.
They're all connected. Yeah. After the when we all heard in the news that the Olympic, the breaking's going to the Olympic, and that happened a few years ago, and we're just like, wow. For us personally, for me, it was like, damn, it's gonna be crazy, you know, like to see that breaking is gonna be in the Olympic. So with that, I was like, oh, you know what? You know what is better, you know, like that, like the same thing I was saying before. What is better is to not be involved or be there, and all of the community we all talking, Facebook, whatever, messaging, like, oh, you see that? Yeah. We need to do something or whatever like this. some people start already something about it, and that was Breaking Canada, and yeah, now I'm more involved with them. I have a certain vision on my side of how I see things about kids evolve, you know, two different kind of program, like kids and professional, and yeah, so it's a big thing, man. It's so complicated. It's
Mm.
going somewhere. I didn't. A lot of stuff's coming over the top, and it's so complicated about mental health, about talking about drugs, talking about, you know, some stuff like we didn't talk so much. You know, we were just, you know, when we go to a breaking jam. After this, we all go in the club, drinking, having fun. You know,
Mm.
this is another level of how it works in Breaking Canada. What we do right now, it's so much work. So yeah, I'm more involved now. Um, uh, we try to do here in Quebec with this little with Breaking Quebec to creating 5 jams a year, and the 5 jams have points, and at the end of the year we're going to elect by the big championship, Quebec championship, the regional champion, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit like a hockey league we try to do.
Yeah.
And after this, I was building this. I got approached a little bit more about with Breaking Canada to try to implement the same thing around Canada and talk to different pioneer and main actor who building already something positive in their province. So that's how I got the position of national director, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. I
Mm-hmm.
reach some people, try to know, like, you know, try to put the community, that's our role, try to putting the community together.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say, to be honest, if you you're always smoking weed and you're just posting this on the social media and all of it, you know, maybe it's not your place, you know,
Yeah.
doing something like this.
Yeah.
Because IOC, International Olympic Committee, if they saw you on your Facebook or whatever social media smoking weed or whatever like this,
Mm-hmm.
yo, you're gonna be out, bro. Look what's
Yeah.
happening right now with the Hockey Canada. You know, it's pretty strict. Some people do some crazy stuff,
Mm.
and they out. You know, so
Yeah.
that's why, like, it's pretty touchy right now. Try to reach the community and try to put all them together, but it's slowly try to implement all this. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a place with everyone right now in Breaking Canada. You just need to do something
Mm-hmm.
and talk to us and try to be involved and
Mm-hmm.
just coming with idea and be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So um, if you, let's say you organize like a couple of jam each year, and you're very involved in Vancouver or whatever like this, so yo, maybe you're the man to do some stuff like this. But right now in Vancouver, Tayo is the guy, man. Tayo is unbelievable. He's a
Yeah.
beautiful human being and he's
Yeah.
building something very strong.
Yeah.
um so, you know, some people like this, good people, get respect by the community and can build something strong. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's yeah, that's awesome. Um, it's it's a really exciting time. Like, regardless of what happens with breaking and the Olympics in the future, I think this kind of thing is setting up a really good foundation for something, you know. And like, again, just because this sort of like a league or something like that, or you know, point system and people getting seeded or whatever to a national, whatever, however it happens, even if that system exists, that doesn't mean that that's the only system that has to exist. And you can still have these events that are like anyone can enter, anyone can battle, this kind of thing. And you know, it's
And we
just
need it. And
yeah,
we
yeah.
need that. Yeah, we need that. This is important. The thing is, after this, Um, and I said very loud, Olympic, it's one thing.
Yeah.
It's not like the thing.
Yeah.
Like that underground jam need to be there. Like why? Because they're the jam who's gonna make um the authenticity of a dance alive.
Mm.
So it's only like, okay, you know, I was so much against like the jam of Red Bull when I was a kid, man. So
Mm.
much against it. Later on, I understand like it something who's gonna stay there. It's something who's not gonna fuck her scene. It's evolution. It's gonna be there. People who don't like it, they're gonna still like doing their stuff on their side, and that's
Yeah.
it, you know. So no, Olympic, it's one thing. You want to be a part of it, yes or no? No, okay, cool, no problem. But
Yeah.
if you can come because you're a pioneer or whatever like this, don't like bullshitting like what happening right now. You're just putting bad vibe, bro. It's
Yeah.
some things one day you're gonna be proud because yo, it's good for you because it's gonna let's talk about like uh work, okay? It's so like okay, let's start in the street or whatever like this, but that doesn't mean like you can be paid on what you're doing and be
Yeah.
very and be growing and have a good salary, have a house, a kid, a fucking giraffe or whatever like this in your life, you know what you want, and still breaking and doing something you love.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Olympics going to provide you something like this,
Yeah.
you know. So stop complaining, be there, be a part of the solution, cheer up. If it's not your thing because you're more like, yo, I'm chilling, la 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 la, good, but come to the jam and I don't know if it's the word in English, encourage.
Yeah. Encourage or support or whatever.
Yeah, be supportive, you know.
Yeah.
And it's underground always going to be there. That's going to give the true essence of the breaking, and it's important because one day in 10 years we're going to have some kids who start because of the Olympics, and those kids not going to know the underground scene. That's going to need some people like you or whatever pioneer to bring him back a little bit in the underground scene, to showing them the real essence so they can bring this Canadian vibe on stage, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I like you just you people can't have. I think most people, most sensible people, have the mentality that like, hey, if this is something that brings something positive, let's do it. And like it's the people that have this like zero sum game thinking, like it's either this or this has got to succeed, and if this is not succeeding, this has to like fail. I want it to fail. I like
mhm.
this, so everything else is like bad. Olympics is bad, Red Bull is bad, this is like underground is good. It's like no, underground is good if you can make the Olympics good. Like talking with say Storm about this, and he was saying, you know, we it's the Olympics, but we made it a party. It was still like a vibe. It might be on a stage and it might not have the same kind of like atmosphere as like a club or something like that, but they still made it. They brought hip hop into the Olympics, right?
Yeah,
Or yeah, talking with um and just vicious about I think it was last year or earlier this year. There was the Canadian qualifier or something like that, and you know, people try and make it. They still try and make it a jam. You know, he was saying, give us non-COVID conditions, and it'll be a breaking event. It's not going to be like, you know, this super serious like sports and whatever. It's going to be breaking plus the Olympics,
exactly.
that kind of thing. So,
Exactly.
you know, I'm not too worried. I think a lot of people, they remember the 80s, or at least they know about the 80s and how people got burned. They don't want to have that happen again, and they're going to try their best to steer it in a right in the direction that they think is right.
Yeah, true. You know what is hard right now? What it's
But
It's
sorry, quickly,
yeah,
even
yeah,
though
you
the
go.
80s people got burned in the 80s, that got a ton of people into it. And a lot of people saw breaking, they saw flash dance. Flash dance went around the world, and that's how it went international. So you can't really say like, oh, well, you know, the media got a hold of it and they didn't represent it right. But, you know,
And it was Beat Street 2, that was a Hollywood movie,
yeah,
you know?
right? Like,
So what is real and what is not?
yeah,
Because, yo, bro, it was a Hollywood. It's like watching something like what's the name of those hip hop movie we saw, like
well, you got
hip
served or
hop
something.
or whatever, You Got Served. That's the
Oh,
same kind of movie. Not they have some dope dancer inside of it, but it's like this, like they were like reflecting the community, what's happening back then, but
yeah,
at the same time, that was a Hollywood movie.
yeah. But I mean, like, at the same time, too, like, as long as we do our best to represent as best we can the true essence of breaking and the culture, it's gonna resonate with people. You know, Flashdance was, I've never actually watched the movie, but it's about some like girl and she's a stripper or something like that. I don't know. I actually don't know what the movie's about. Is
You
that what it
mashed up so much the story, man.
is? That, I don't know what it's
Yeah, but
something.
that's okay. She was working hard somewhere, like, and yeah, she was not a stripper.
Okay, she wasn't a stripper. I like that just shows like I don't have no idea. I didn't care any at all about that, but
That's it.
I saw that scene where they're in the alley and it's like I don't know, like a minute at most or something.
Yeah,
But they
something
that
like
was
this. It
real
changed
breaking
the world, man. Yeah,
and
this can change the
yeah,
world.
yeah, exactly, right? So if like whenever you get that opportunity, do it and do it try and represent the culture. So this is our version of Flashdance, I guess, is the Olympics, right?
True. And
And yeah, hopefully we don't have someone 20 years, 30 years later who's like, "Oh yeah, they were like strippers on the in the Olympics." Maybe I should actually watch the movie so I'm not so
you
ignorant.
don't need it. Honestly, that's so good.
Yeah, but you know, even like with You Got Served, it's
I
you
never
know,
watched the movie. I was in the movie, the five one, in Step Up Five,
I
and
think we did that audition or not audition. We did that thing together.
yeah, yeah, true, true. That was you,
Yeah.
with Mark, and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now I
This thing
remember.
where the that was the Boston, not the Boston crew, somewhere crew. I don't
I
know,
don't
something
know. I
like
don't
this.
know. But we all didn't we like show up in like all denim or something like that?
We just coming and just try. Yo, we try to be prepared and just this is the show. Yo, guys, learn the show. We have there was fresh format in your crew,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was very funny because you remember like at the spot there was a more they were seeing they want to see more like big move or something like
Yeah, yeah,
this,
yeah.
more freestyle, just like fun.
Yeah.
That was a fun trip. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, anyway, like that's cool to see what's going on with Breaking Canada and
Oh, it's pretty awesome, man. And what Jeff doing right now?
mhm,
Jeff is president of Breaking Canada. Honestly, he is the man,
mhm.
and he's trying to do some things very cool, very solid. And I can do like the work he do. Like a lot of people can do nothing. He's always like this, typing,
Yeah.
subvention, try to go to find something and try to learn.
Yeah.
He's very into it, and no, man, he's the guy, man. He's really the guy, and it's pretty hard because, yeah, so much different mentality, and we need to put our perspective of breaking aside and try to, if we're coming with a vision, this is the vision for now. Like in every province, let's say like right now we focus a lot of to having those 5 jams a year and having points, and at the end of the year to having the regional and having da 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 on the youth program and the high performance program. Let's do this first and try to build a good team Canada, implement a little something to start, and later on when everything's going to be very solid, let's try to arrange stuff, but let's start with something. And this is where it's really hard to do something because we have the mentality in the West is totally different in the East. And we need to come with something together. And yeah, so something's beautiful is right there under our nose, and we just need to keep going the same mind and
Yeah.
focus in one thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I just recently talked with Jeff about this kind of thing, and you know, he's him and you and everyone involved, or everyone's putting in a lot of work. But it's the kind of thing where, like I said, you guys are all sort of helping to lay the foundation for something in the future, and like that's not an easy job for anyone. And I think that, you know, a lot of people don't realize like how much of a sort of selfless job that is in a lot of ways. Like you might not ever see the benefits of this, maybe, right? Who knows, right?
Yeah, maybe one day. Yeah.
But maybe,
It's more
yeah,
than it's more than 40 hours a week on that. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's so much work, and we're not late, but we don't have we have support, but not like some place like Korea, Japan, or whatever like this. You know, the Chinese, they have already like facility. They just breaking 8 hours a day. Each day they're all living in the same build. You know, like it's different mentality. It's different support by the government or whatever like this. You know, so
yeah,
we're not on the same freaking page, and we just try to build something solid. And one day, you know, the goal, one day we're gonna have a solid Team Canada. Already now we have a solid Team Canada. Hope they're gonna be sponsored by and be paid to what they do, and focus only on training to try to bring medals to Canada. And the youth are very, very important, because tomorrow they're going to be the one at the next Olympic that's going to stay.
yeah,
And who's going to benefit this for the youth? That's going to be dance school, that's going to be community center, and everyone. But we just need to bring everyone together. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I wish you the best of luck with all of that. And
Yes.
I think that about maybe wraps up this edition of the podcast. But it was a really great time talking with you and catching up and just learning your history and stuff. Really smooth conversation. You're an entertaining guy. Easy to talk to you.
Thanks, man. Thanks. And
Yeah.
let's finish this with you think like flash dance is a stripper thing.
That'll be the last thing. I'm never gonna live that down.
Yeah.
Isn't she though? Isn't that scene where she pulls the water or something? And
You're
it's like,
right.
isn't that
You're
isn't
right.
that
You're
part of
right.
the
You're right.
story? I don't
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Let's bring footage and try to. You're gonna make me watch Flash. She was a stripper.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much, Zig, for just sharing your history and yeah, just your thoughts and experiences on everything. And yeah, do you have any? If people want to like follow you or follow Breaking Canada or whatever, what are some of the ways that they can do that?
Yeah, they can add me on my Instagram on Eric Zig Martel, uh, or following Breaking Canada, follow our journey. I'm gonna be in the West Coast for in the jam for Kotaro and Matt Muzzle on the August 26th to 28th this month. So if you're in the jam, you're somewhere, you want to talk to me and asking me question about something, yo, I'm an open guy, very like we can have conversation and I can talk to you, no problem. I'm very friendly, so yeah, I'm gonna be there. Come and talk. And if you have question on talk to me, adding me somewhere on Facebook or Instagram, and let's chat. Yeah,
Yeah, super friendly guy.
super friendly.
Yeah, any last like shout outs or last words before we sign off.
Okay, let's a big shout out to my boys from Filthee Feet. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
represent. All the guys from Sweet Tech, the family, Fresh Format, all the crew like here in the East and all the crew in the West and the WAN. My original Rudy. Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? Stylz Corrupt represent Flowrock. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to the breaking community in Canada. Yo, guys, like let's try to build something all together and be together. Let's try to be stick with one thing first and putting all the dot. And if we putting all of our provincial, regional, always gonna say it right now because that's my goal personally. Like if we can bring all of the community and have more members, we're gonna make grow this scene. Canada is freaking dope. Canada right now, it's have this famous touch on the floor with footwork and styles and everything, music. We're so different than everyone. Let's bring this on the table and show the world who we are and be proud of it because we're freaking dope. Big shout out to my boys from Bag of Tricks. Big shout out to Boogie Brat, still there. Yeah, 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 represent. My Legs crew, Flowrock family. So yeah, man, that's it. It's all about love.
Nice. Well, again, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Everyone who's watching, thank you. Zig, we'll have to do it again sometime. But yeah, for now, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Peace.